So other than, spending 24/7 working on episodes of DRS, trying in a forlorn hope of catching up anytime soon, have you gotten any writing done?
No.
No.
This week was all getting all the shit for Station 3 done. That meant all the PR stuff. That meant all the audiobook stuff, getting everything up for sale, redoing portions of the website, putting together other odds and ends. And the podcast begins June 1st. So I have some work to do on bumpers and edits and audio and things like that. So tomorrow is going to be a very busy day for Paul because Paul has a concert tonight.
Who are you going to go see?
That's been postponed for 3 years.
Who is it?
Frontline Assembly.
Don't know them. What kind of music is it?
It's industrial techno.
That sounds good. I like industrial and I like techno.
I think that you would really dig Frontline Assembly, especially their instrumentals are just amazing. And they have another band called Delirium, which is they just do trance and offbeat with occasionally they have singers come on with them, but they make some really fantastic music. And Frontline Assembly is Delirium, essentially. They've got like 12 different bands. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it should be fun. It'll be good music. And a couple of folks that are going with us have never seen them, and really dig them. So it'll be fun to watch. I've only seen them twice, I think. Maybe 3 times. I guess maybe 3 times. 3 times since 1990 when I started listening to them. It's kind of hard to get the shows with them. So we're going, God damn it.
So the reason they don't have singers is because they don't have enough walkers to get everybody up on stage.
Oh, that's mean. God. No. It's not quite that bad. It's close.
It's
close.
Not Tyler Perry still, trying to sing bad.
No. I don't even know what that is.
He's the lead singer for Aerosmith.
What'd you say his name was?
What did I say?
I don't know, but that's not who it is. It's
Tyler
Steve Perry.
Not Tyler Perry.
Steve Perry.
Steve Perry. I want to see Tyler Perry because I want to go see Tyler Perry sing in front of Aerosmith.
Isn't he like this big black dude, actor, director, producer? I didn't know he sang.
Okay. Yeah, I got the name wrong.
Tyler Perry.
That would be much more entertaining, though.
I could just see him up there, belting out Aerosmith. Maybe a little skinny puppy. Yeah. And Screamer's back again.
She's still making noise. She wants me to love her.
What a brat. What a complete and total brat.
She's 19. She's not a brat. She's an old lady.
Mm-hmm. One thing I did do this week that was writing related was I drew up all the maps for signal decay and the levels, and then I discovered how I'm going to do what I need to do to get this done, which is going to be fun. I hadn't planned to spend much time in the mine originally, but I think now most of the story will take place in the mine. I think.
That's good. Having maps of knowing where things are is excellent.
Okay, so I have to I'm a very visual person, which is hilarious because I can't make visual things to save my life. But the trying to map out how people get into somewhere and having a good overall feel of what the structures are, how people get into things, how they get out of things, how they traverse different areas. Having all that done ahead of time would really save me a lot of insanity because I have a good feeling for the characters already. It's just a matter of getting the setting right. And again, this is going to be plot heavy because I know exactly what I want to have happen. I know where these people need to go and what they need to do to get there. The only question has been how to build the universe and the environment in such a way that the rest of the story can take place. So I did do that, and that was kind of fun and made me want to write, but I was not able to write because I have all this other shit I got to do. So that's where things have been. Then I got caught up on Oceania because I was several episodes behind, and now I'm running out of written material. So I need to take as soon as Station 3 gets off into the podcast, I need to spend all my time on Oceania. Get this scene finished.
One busy dude.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm really behind the 8 ball, and every time I get ahead, there's another 8 ball. It's like I wasn't planning on dealing with the Black re-release. Well, here it is. I wasn't planning on dealing with this. Well, here it is. So all
There's
these things.
A trailer scene for oh God. There's a cartoon character now that I'm trying to remember the name of. The one that's really fast and collects rings.
Sonic?
A Sonic the Hedgehog trailer for the second movie. And he's flying on the top wing of a biplane, and missiles are fired at them and like dodging all around on the plane, and nothing hits him. And he goes, "Oh, that wasn't so bad." And then one pounds him right off the side of the plane. So like, yep, that's Paul.
Yeah, that's my schedule right now. That's pretty descriptive of the whole mess. I think I sold probably $200 worth of audiobooks from my store, Station 3, which is pathetic, but considering there's been no promo done, no nothing, and all I've been able to do is basically put up on Twitter and put up on I haven't even put out a promo on my podcast yet for the book. And I think June 1st is when, it'll have its own podcast. It'll have everything else. I'll do the whole deal, and we'll see who shows up. We'll see how many people buy the books. But really, I think a lot of the sales have been coming through people who are on the newsletter, because I sent out a badass newsletter.
I saw it.
Yeah. Did you? Oh, okay. Sent out that, and then got on Twitter and got some other folks to retweet, and then I put a blog post up, and people commented on that. I had to basically post things in about 7 different places to get the announcement out that Station 3 was even there. So it's been that part's been hell. I don't know what kind of advertising Severed is ultimately going to do for it, but I imagine that once the audiobook gets out there and into all the retail stores, will be better. But right now, the only place it's available is from me. And it's not an exclusive. It is not an Audible exclusive, because fuck that.
There's a huge crisis taking place in my writing office, even as we speak.
Oh, no.
Screamer wants to get in her bed, but that is not possible.
Because somebody else is in the bed?
Romeo is in there and totally crashed. And she's like, "But that's my bed. You can't have my bed. That's my bed.
That's mine. You can't have that." That's not how that works, unfortunately.
So, talking writing-wise, I'm on day 13 of this novel.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What is that? What are you doing? What are you
For those
doing?
of you not watching YouTube, the screen is shaking because Terry's cat has decided she's going to throw a fit.
She's busy nuzzling the entire monitor stand, or the entire camera stand.
Welcome to my world. I have a cat who moves my monitor up and down.
Come here, you.
She is just trouble today.
Well, Screamer is usually trouble.
Yep.
If she doesn't get the attention she desires, she causes trouble. She's learned over her long life that works.
All right, now, day 13 of this novel.
Day 13 of this novel. The first day was spent on fleshing out where I thought the story was going to go, kind of getting a rough outline on it. So really, it's only 12 writing days of this novel, and I'm at 29,000 words on it. So I'm pretty pleased with where that's going. Even with 2 days of not being able to write because of the AC and chaos early in the process because of cat death. and cat sickness and things along those lines that happened last year. Just trying to get myself taking Donna to the hospital because she was having trouble breathing, that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
All of that interfered with the first of this. So I'm behind where I'd hoped to be, but I'm pretty pleased with where I'm actually at. And today I got to write one of those scenes where you're like, oh, reader, you didn't see this coming. Here's this left cross.
Let me smack you right into the chin. See how you like that. You like it? You like it?
I can't get into the details of what I did, but I've spent the first part of the novel. I'm I don't know, 25% done with the draft. So I've spent some of the early chapters getting a particular character positioned to be important to the plot going forward. And then I whacked them.
You're such a coolie.
Yes, but it may not be permanent.
Huh?
And that is the fun part.
Oh, God. You heard it here first.
You ever bury a hook? Let's see, how far back did I bury this hook? Book 2 in this series, I buried the hook that I am now using.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get into the details of exactly what I'm doing because that's something you'll just have to read the book and find out, folks. But I envisioned doing something very much like this. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know who I was going to do it with, and I didn't know the circumstances. But I had envisioned something like this occurring, and now all the pieces are in place. And I said, it was yesterday. I went, oh, this is the spot where this happens.
That's always a good thing.
I think it is. I enjoyed writing that scene. I'm sure that it will be a real shocker to the readers because it will be one of those things they literally could not imagine possible because it makes no sense for the plot. And they're like, what? What just happened?
Yeah. I laid a hook in Marines and somebody called me out in Destruction afterwards and said, hey, I think you forgot about this. No, I have not forgotten about that. And I closed up that loop in the first 3 chapters of Trident. So it's one of those deals where some people pay attention to those hooks and they look at them and go, well, you haven't dealt with this yet. When is this coming back? You know, when are we actually going to see what the ramifications are of this particular detail? And what kind of effect is it going to have on the story? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you and I call those out very strongly because we want the reader to not forget them. Because then they feel like we've double-crossed them and we did something without setting it up, and they feel like they've just been jerked around through the story.
Well, luckily they won't be able to say that because I've been mentioning this particular book.
Yeah,
for 2 books,
and that's kind of the point, is that if it's a really huge hook like that, you kind of have to go back and reference it every once in a while to keep it fresh in everybody's mind.
Exactly. It's gone back and been referenced a number of times. Paul, take a moment and jot down the time.
Oh, fuck. All right.
It was very fun to write that scene and just know the wild chaos that I'm going to sow while doing it.
Your favorite part of things, the wild chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I see how this goes.
And now that I've spilled all the beans, we can go back to the rest of the folks and they can wonder, I wonder what they were talking about.
Patrons will be pissed.
Oh, no. Sorry, kids. I can't share that part. It's a secret.
Liar. Pants on something or other.
If it was one of my books, I could share the details with somebody. But the fact that it's a co-written work, I'm under an obligation not to have big plot spoilers wandering around.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. We shouldn't be spoiling our plots anyway, because people who actually read us listen to the show. So, unfortunately, we're also here to talk about the craft of writing.
Wait, there's a craft to this?
Yes.
I thought it was just, wild happenstance.
No.
Oh my God. while I was reading books during the 2-day extravaganza of Heated House while the AC was being done, I read a series of books, a trilogy by one of the authors that I know that I got his books, and they were pretty good. I thought they were pretty good, except that in the third book, I ran up hard against a term that didn't jibe for me. He was using knots on the ocean as distance rather than speed.
Did he mean nautical miles and just use knots, you think?
I went ahead and emailed him about it and said, you know, I ran into this little spot here. And he goes, no, I used to teach ocean geography. It's correct. Knots mean both distance and speed. I'm like, I'm not sure that's right. Do you have a link to that? Because that's really cool. I'd like to read more about it. And the next couple of emails from him devolved into, yeah, that crow, that tasted real good. I guess I've got a few things to fix. I feel bad for him because, oh man, that's like Han Solo and the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's one of those bad things. Yeah. When you said that,
sorry, James. Distance, yeah, if you're listening to this, I don't mean it bad.
When you said distance, I was like, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty much how I was too. It was like, it happens.
It happens.
When he was teaching, he had someone tell him that that's what it was, somebody in the industry, and he took that at word. Hello, Nomeo.
Nomeo?
It's Romeo.
Uh-huh.
Coming to get his lobs.
Mm-hmm. And looking for food.
He would like some food. This is true.
So when do you think you're going to be finished with this book, assuming you don't get any other delays, disasters, not so divine interventions?
Well, I already know that I'm going to have one of those next week. Even though we've got a live show on Saturday, Friday, my wife is going to Waco to inter her mother's ashes.
Right.
So I'm going to be I might have to get up at 5 o'clock in the freaking morning on Friday because the ceremony is at 10 a.m. in Waco.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
One of those. And then we'll spend the night there and then we'll come back. So I know that those 2 days are lost causes.
I'm glad you have lost causes. I'm glad you have days where it's just like, fuck.
Romeo's like, but what am I going to eat while you're gone, Human?
That's a good question.
I'm going to have to put out food for him. He will like that.
Oh,
he'll get a big old bowl of food and he can eat whatever he likes. He'll be all about that shit.
Uh-huh.
His blood sugar won't like it, but he's all about it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hopefully that's the last big disruption. My target for finishing the draft and getting it turned over to the editor is the end of June.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can make that.
I think I can make that.
You should be able to make that.
I think so. I was hoping to build up a little extra time because I have to build up a cushion in the print in the publishing schedule if I want to write the next Empire book. So every time I have a book not let me build up some cushion, then it takes longer before I get to that Empire book.
Yeah. Excuse me. I realized today that while I was going through all this stuff that I'm going to be writing serials for quite a while because I got to finish off Oceania. And then right after that, I have to start Extinction for my patrons and for the book releases, which means that's going to slow down any other work, right? It's going to, depending on how much I can get done writing it a week and everything else. And then the recording I got to do for the patrons, which is so much easier. It's so much easier to record for the patrons than it is to record for the podcast or book. I can't even tell you why, but because I can be a little more slipshod. That's why. But that's going to take a significant portion of my writing time and other time and everything else. Just getting that book finished which means Signal Decay will be limping along until I get enough room to go work on it kind of full time. I'd almost like to take 2 weeks and do nothing but write Oceania and finish it, but I don't have that option. I actually think I could finish it in like a week and a half. I think I could. I'd still have to finish off this arc. I reread and recorded and narrated the last like 3 episodes up to where I'm all caught up and went, yeah, we need to end this arc. Now I just need to figure out how to get myself out of this mess without killing everybody. Because I've set it up so everybody could die really easily. So now I have to figure out how to keep them from all getting killed. Which is a problem I know you've had before. Nods.
That awkward moment when you find out that you've executed your entire string of protagonists. Yeah, I run into that problem all the time.
Somebody posted this tweet, or maybe it was in our Discord. I can't remember, but it was like an author goes, I'm working on my WP. And you come to this point and go, wait a minute, who's still alive? Raise your hand.
Yeah, that's you.
I was like, wow, that fits with Outbreak so well. Let the bodies hit the floor. It's like in a Cooley novel, if you get a character you've never seen before, who's never been mentioned before, and we go into their story, you know something really bad's about to happen to them. Here, let me introduce you and give you 1,700 words about this person's life before they meet the monster. Because they're fun. It's fun to do that. It's wonderful. So, yeah, I really want to get these 2 books finished. Although, I don't know how long Extinction will be. I have no idea.
Whatever you think it's going to be, it's 50% longer than that.
Then we're looking at 250,000 words easy.
There you are.
Fuck you.
Whatever you say, Brandon.
I don't know. Here's a question for you, Terry. And maybe it's a question for the folks at home. When you go to of course, you wouldn't know because you've never actually done this, but when you go to finish off a series with that last book, shouldn't it be just pull out all the fucking stops and just go ham?
I don't know if you should go ham, but you should take care to take most of the major plot lines and tie them up. This is not the place to hold back. No. It's the place to go ahead and wrap up all the various threads.
Right. And the more you have, the more shit you got to have to you have to wrap up. And part of what I've got to do with Extinction is take all of the knowledge the characters have culminated over 5 books and distill it into how they're going to survive in book 6. It's going to be fun.
You say that I've never had to wrap up a series, but I'm actually thinking about doing exactly that.
With Empire, right?
With Empire. Because I've got so many other things going on my plate, and I have a plot in mind that 1, possibly 2 more books could wrap up all of the major threads that they're going through and tie off the major story arcs. I don't like to leave series hanging, and it's starting to feel like a good place to go ahead and tie that one off. It would be 15 books if I finish it off in the next book. And that's a pretty good series.
That's a hell of a good series. You've got, what, 1.4 million words or some shit?
Something like that.
I mean,
I think it probably averages about 90,000. So it's a little less than that, but sure.
Still 1.1, 1.2 million words. Come on.
Mm-hmm. And I've been thinking about what I would need to do to wrap up those major storylines and make things satisfactory for the readers. So you say I haven't done it, but I've been thinking about it.
Right. And that's I just wanted to get I knew that you were coming up against this relatively soon. So, and we're writing 2 different deals, obviously. I've got
You're just going to run out of people. You're not going to. It's going to be easy to tie off everything for you because everyone's dead.
Wait a minute. There are 4.5 million miserable assholes in the city of Houston. I think I've got plenty more people to kill off.
I think you could manage to get a good swath of them all in one good go.
I'm not saying a fucking word.
Here's one of those things you need to do, like, Tom Clancy, where he's got like all these little bitty bit parts that are watching things. And then you get to the end of the book and they drop a nuke on Houston and everybody gets Bob, flash of light, Dave, flash of light, Anna, flash of light. Yeah, that's all. That's all dead.
The end.
Each one a separate chapter. Poof, poof, poof.
That's so Stephen King. That's so Stephen King. It is going to be one of those monster movie madness 4-hour Godzilla things. It's just, it's going to be crazy.
Now, for the people that are listening to this, that are actually paying attention, I do intend to continue writing in the Imperial Marine saga. And there could very well be more books picking up after Empire of Bones, because there are still things going on that could pick up into a new series there. It's just a convenient place to tie off the Empire series. It doesn't necessarily mean the end of the characters or the end of the things that they might do.
That's what I was going to ask. I'm like, I don't see Terry closing the door on Kelsey forever. I just don't see that working.
She is in a position where there is a reason why there would need to be a time break.
Okay.
She's pregnant. She's going to have a child.
Oh, God.
And so that's been hanging over her head for a book or two now, I think. So things are progressing. Time is not forgiving. The tide waits on no man, as they say. So there's only so far I can do before she's going to be shunted back home for a period of years, no matter what I do.
Okay, that makes sense.
So once that happens, I could certainly pick something up 5-10 years down the road with those characters and have a newly settled universe with the repercussions of everything they've done kind of smoothed out with a decade and have new goals. So if the time comes back to write more in that universe, I have the ability to do so, and it would start off a new series.
Right. Exactly.
And I still believe that, no people can't really see how does this work, but there's always the possibility that the events in the Imperial Marine saga might intersect with Kelsey's world, even with 500 years between them.
I'm not even going to ask. I don't want to know.
Spoilers. If I say it.
Don't want to know. Don't want to know. Don't want to know. Regardless, yeah, I mean, that's a good place to end it. The Black is, I would say this 6 books finishes off the M2 cycle. We'll just call it that. Then
we'll have M3.
No, you'll never have an M3. M2 is named after the trench they discovered it in. They discovered the Black in. I cannot say there will not be another novel with the Black in it. I'm not going to say that. There will not be another novel with M2 in it, if that makes sense.
Sure, that makes sense.
So whatever creature that we encounter in the future will not be from the same lineage.
It's just like having Venom. You never really know exactly who he's part of.
Or what he's going to do. But yeah, it's I haven't completely locked myself out of the series. I'm not completely locking myself out of the opportunity to do something else with some of these characters, the ones that survive. But I am pretty much locking out this part of action. And this is the end of the M2 cycle. If I pick it up, it'll be somewhere else. Maybe in some other time. Who knows? Maybe it will be 1,500 years in the past.
I know that when I started writing Empire, I didn't know where it was going to end. The scope of the scenery and the plot and everything that was going on didn't develop immediately. it took this entire 15 books to lay out where I wanted things to go. So only now that I've made the journey can I see where the end is.
Yeah. When I was writing Trident, I had an idea what the ending would look like. But it wasn't until I started writing that entire 30,000 word battle that goes on there that I really saw where the end was. I had ideas, but it wasn't until I actually got in there and wrote it that it kind of gelled and came together for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, sometimes you can't, sometimes I, anyway, cannot plot out or figure out what the ending really is or how we're going to get there until I start trying to get there. And that's one of those things I know about writer's block. I've had it before, and I'm sure other people do too, where you can't figure out how that scene is supposed to go. And so you prevaricate, you procrastinate, you get the writer's block thing. And really it's just about fear of tackling the scene and doing it wrong. Maybe you're going to do it wrong multiple times. Writers don't get like a certificate saying, I'm a writer, I've done all these wonderful things and everything else, and I'm an expert. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen with lawyers either, or doctors. There's a reason why they call it a practice. It's because you only get better by doing it. No matter how much education you take, no matter how many other things that you do, you won't get better until you actually start doing it. And so you have to practice. So practice.
Yeah.
We have to practice all the time. And like we said last week on the live show, I throw away a lot of shitty words. Which reminds me, Terry, while I was editing Oceania, I came across some really world-class typos and unbelievably shitty grammar and some sentences that weren't even cognizant, weren't even cogent. I had to figure out what the fuck I was trying to say. That was embarrassing. That's why we edit. What are you doing over there?
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're not adding to this conversation. It's become a monologue. What the hell's wrong with you?
Sometimes you need to talk.
When I was going through college, you go through the writing classes and you have like these bullshit exercises they give you. And so prof would give out, go write a story. It has to have these elements, whatever. It was just little writing exercises like, 500, 800 words. Mm-hmm. And all of my exercises came back with like 2,500, 3,000 words. And Dr. Pratt was like, you are the hardest working person on the homework assignments ever. I'm like, well, it's got shit to do. Want to get better. Okay, gotta write, gotta suck before you cannot suck. So it was definitely worth it from that standpoint. So it's a good thing to get into a rhythm with. Mm-hmm. And just keep writing. There we go. Just keep writing.
I guess that's the answer to everything.
Pretty much. That and the stop sucking.
That comes with time.
Have I told you that story? Maybe I haven't.
No, maybe not. Tell me.
There's a movie with Matt Damon and some other guy where they're conjoined twins or whatever. And I can't remember what it's called now. Matt Damon was recounting this on Inside the Actors Studio. And he said that the funniest comment he ever got was, I guess it was directed by the Coen brothers. I can't remember. But because of where the things were, the directors were literally across the street watching the action that was taking inside the interior of the townhouse they were in or wherever they were filming this thing. So he's just looking at it on screens. So he sees something while they're acting. He screams cut. He walks across traffic, goes up the stairs of the townhouse, goes into the room where they're in, looks at them and says, stop sucking. And then he turns around, walks down the stairs, back across the street, back to the director's area. That was his only comment. His only note, stop sucking. I love that story.
Sometimes actors have to direct themselves. And it's interesting that you tell that story, because I was watching a YouTube video on how they were making Top Gun Maverick, since it just came out this week.
Right.
And the director said that it was challenging because he could lay out exactly what he wanted to happen and all of those details, what they needed to do. But once the canopies closed, the planes flew away and did not come back for an hour.
Oh.
And he had no input whatsoever.
What they were doing in the cockpit.
Because there was no way to see what they were doing. They have cameras in the cockpit running it, but the actors had to be trained to run them, because there was no way that they could do it any other way.
You can't exactly fit a film crew in the cockpit.
You can't exactly fit a film crew in the cockpit.
It might make it F-14 a little crowded.
So they have the real Navy pilots sitting up front, and the actors are in the back. And they've got like 6 cameras set up to record the actor. And they've got to know lighting. They've got to know what's going on around them. They've got to know their own lines. They've got to know what they're doing enough to be their own filmographer until they get back down and land. And each hour of flight time cost them $11,000.
That sounds pretty cheap, actually.
Sounds pretty cheap, but the Navy was getting a lot out of that, so they probably got a reduced cost on it. Now, admittedly, I forget which air group it was that was flying them, but it's their big name. Maybe it was the Blue Angels that were flying them. I'm not sure, but they were highly trained pilots that were flying them, so their time is worth something.
Yeah, I would think so.
But at least one of the actors that was doing that said, "Yeah, I found out how you accidentally delete all the footage you recorded."
Whoops. Well, there's a waste of an hour and $11,000.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There was a lesson learned there.
Yeah, welcome to film school. Where you're gonna throw away money like water. Yeah, pretty much. What have I done to my hair? Oh my God.
I know your hair.
Oh my God.
Your hair. Oh my God, Becky.
No, just leave my hair alone. Don't touch the hair. John Travolta. Don't touch the hair.
The hair. Don't touch the hair.
Don't touch the hair.
Gosh, I think I'll go out next week and watch Top Gun during the week sometime when not everybody and their third cousin is watching it. I've heard very good things about it.
I know I will not be watching
it. Yeah. You're a stick in the mud.
I just think it's another fucking nostalgia grab, and I don't want to be a part of that shit.
It is a nostalgia grab, and they're not even trying to hide that that's what it is. But I've read people that have seen it that said, even though I know that's what it is, oh my God.
I'm just not interested.
Taste is what taste is.
Yeah, it's cool that I, on the other hand, am going to go see Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of the Future. I'm not familiar with that one.
There's this really sick individual named David Cronenberg, who brought things like Dead Ringers to the screen, which is a fantastic horror movie. But oh my God, it's disturbing as shit. Crimes of the Future is his newest, and it's about people who it's basically about a society that has so fucked themselves up that the only way they can experience pleasure is with pain. So it's a pretty serious body horror picture. You would not like it. I'm interested to see it just because it should be absolutely horrific and make me squirm in my chair. And then I can come back and tell you how I will never go see that movie again. That looks like a very confused cat.
Mr. Thomas does not like being held, so I picked him up.
He looked very, very confused. It was pretty funny.
He's like, wait, he was wiggling all the way in here. He was showing me the wiggles. He's like, wait, I don't want to give you a wiggles, Dad.
So yeah, I'm going to go see Crimes of the Future. You're going to go see Top Gun Maverick.
That's it. And the kiddies, they's going to stay at home.
Poor Woodies.
Oh, Mr. Thomas.
So many goddamn cats in this show. It's so hopeless.
Yeah, there's like four in the room here with me now. 3 of them asleep and 1 of them ready to do stuff. Thomas is only a year old, so he is still that gawky teenager that wants to run around and chase things.
Of course. I watched a series called Ratched, which is about the Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Mm-hmm.
It could not have been more distant from the book or the movie, and there was no reason to use the name of the character.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. And what really pisses me off about it is they had something going pretty good. There could have been a second season, but there wasn't. But I think the main reason why it just seemed like such bullshit is there was no reason to call it that. There was no reason. They did it just to basically try and get the people who knew what One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was interested in the show. And I think it was a very bad idea, as I think it probably turned off most of the people within the first episode or 2, because that is not that character. I mean, it is and it's not. So I just was kind of like, okay, you guys could have done so much better with this, and you really fucked it up by trying to make this marketing tie-in. But I really liked a lot of what was going on there with I mean, everybody in there's a fucking sociopath. Every single character, except for one, and he dies. The only good person in this show dies. But I really liked it. I liked the actors, and a lot of the dialogue was very funny, and the actors did a really, really good job of emoting and all the other crap. But it just seemed like, again, a nostalgia grab, and that kind of stuff just really ticks me off, because it's really taking your audience for a ride, and it seems cynical and opportunistic. I just love it.
Well, that's pretty much, modern movie making.
Yeah, with some exception. Well, I would say that's the blockbuster making. I watch a lot of films that don't really see the theater much. Probably a lot of films you've never heard of and never seen commercials for. So there you go. We have a different worldview on that, different experience. So what else do you know?
I think that it's hard to know a whole lot of stuff when you're just buried in working. I really need to get out more.
So do I. The wife demanded we go out to dinner last night. It was the first time we've actually been out in like months. So we had dinner last night, courtesy of gift cards, because all the relatives sent us gift cards for Christmas and birthdays and whatnot. So we have 10,000 stacks of them. But it was nice to get out of the house. I literally had not been out of the house except to run errands in probably a week and a half. So it was kind of a nice deal for that. But I don't know, man. I just don't know.
I did get a fair chunk of reading done. That was nice. I would like to read more, but reading and writing, they pretty much take up the same brain space.
My biggest problem the last week and a half has been NHL playoffs.
And then there's those of us that have a hockey problem.
I have a serious hockey problem. Because my team just made it through the second round. They're going to the Western Conference Finals, God damn it. To face off with those pesky Edmonton Oilers. Damn Canadians. It's like they think they invented the sport or something. Anyway, yeah. I'm looking forward to hockey season being over so I can actually get back to doing shit at night. It's been rather difficult. Anyway, that's slowing down. No, the frenetic part is over. So now we only have 2 games to watch very soon, thankfully, or something. But it's it's funny. we had no concerts for like 2.5 years. And now this summer and this fall, everybody and their fucking dog is coming out of the woodwork to come to shows. It's like every night the theaters are booked. And the concert halls have people coming. It is absolutely bonkers. So it's like everybody's been storing this up and all these canceled tours and put all this music, and now everybody's coming at once. It's like there was one week where I could go to 4 concerts that week that I want to go to. Wow. I have no money to do that, but that's how many artists are coming this summer. It's absolutely nuts.
You know, it's been a long time since I've been to see live music. I've only been to 2 concerts in my entire life.
Oh my God. My poor sweet summer child.
Should you guess which ones they were? They would probably tell you something about me.
Arlo Guthrie and Garth Brooks.
Wow. Not even close. I went to see Van Hagar when I was younger.
Right.
And I took my daughter to see Aerosmith.
Okay. I don't know where I even start if I was going to name all the concerts I've been to.
You know, live concerts was just never my bag.
Yeah. I think I saw Rush 9 times, 8 or 9 times. I've seen Tool 6. I've seen Skinny Puppy 5, Ogre 3, Frontline Assembly 3, well, 4 tonight. Pink Floyd twice, one time at the Berlin Wall before it fell. And God, so many other indie bands and other stuff, just been all over the place. Metallica, Megadeth, you name it. I've probably been to the concert.
I wanted to go to the Metallica concert, but things didn't work out. Couldn't get to go to that one.
Which one? When would that have been?
It would have been at least a decade ago. You know, they've been around a while, so
they have. I've seen them 4 times.
I think it was the Saint Anger tour, which wouldn't have been nearly as much fun. Although I think we decided not to go because we thought Saint Anger sucked, and then we found out that during the tour they basically played all of their other stuff and didn't play stuff from the Saint Anger.
They played 3 songs from Saint Anger. That's it. Everything else was primarily from the older albums.
Yeah, that's what I heard after the fact. But I think that was the cause. Is me and one of my other daughters had thought about going. We're like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, but Godsmack opened for them on that tour, and Godsmack was worth more than Metallica was that night.
Godsmack has been worth more than Metallica has been for quite some time.
I have no response to that except to say you're absolutely fucking right.
Godsmack does some good shit.
Yeah, they do. They do. They're fun to watch live. They really are. They really are. Music.
I've been bouncing back and forth while writing, trying to listen to music where I could. Mm-hmm. And this book has not been cooperative for me. Even with the editing, I get more done when I'm not listening to music this time around. It seems like every book is different. And I found my software had betrayed me.
How did your software betray you?
Somewhere along the lines, Dragon Naturally Speaking changed where the slider was. It's got a slider between fastest and most accurate.
Okay, yeah.
And I had it set to most accurate, and it went to fastest.
Oh, no.
So, I switched it back for this chapter because I only just found that that's what I'd done. I've been having, more errors than I'd expected for a while. And I was like, I don't understand that, but I think I do now.
So basically, after every update, you need to check and make sure the settings didn't get toggled.
Yeah, I updated this blasted thing maybe
about the same time it switched quality.
It could have been. I was using the Bluetooth microphone at the time, so I didn't really notice. I blamed it on the Bluetooth microphone.
So maybe the Bluetooth microphone didn't have any blame associated with it, and it really had to do with this setting.
It could be, and I don't know. Won't know until I try it using the Bluetooth, whether or not that's actually true or not.
Well, it's an easy way to check it out. Grab 2 pages of a manuscript and read it with the Bluetooth and see how it does.
That could be one way to do it. The other way is to go ahead and narrate a page, because my dictation style is different than me reading off the page, and see what it looks like.
Yeah, either
but
way.
I noticed that this chapter had a lot fewer issues with it than my usual ones.
There's hope for you. Not much, but a little bit.
I can't wait to see what it behaves like on the new computer.
Probably 1,000% better.
Probably not a ton better, but it's going to have enough processing power to where it's not going to care between fastest or most accurate. It'll be put it to most accurate, and it'll still be damn fast.
Right. Exactly. That's the whole point. Just like Paul would like a faster computer so he could crunch these 2-hour fucking YouTube videos a lot faster.
Yeah, my new computer could probably do it in 20 minutes. I have no idea how long it would actually take. I'm just being a jerk.
Yeah, well, yeah. Doesn't take that long. Well, it depends. Depends on what I'm doing. If I'm just doing our podcast, it doesn't take all that long. But if I'm doing stuff with special effects like Derelict or whatever, those 15 minutes videos take a long time to crunch. Take a long time to crunch because I've got all these effects and other shit in there. Not a big deal.
Just 2 geezers talking. Not a lot going on in the background.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. Just 2 old farts, babbling because they can't stand to shut the hell up.
Well, right now I'm like a month away from hitting the button on buying the new computer. So we'll see how long it takes to get in once that happens. It'll be after this book is done and somewhere in the middle of the first part of recording the next book.
So probably fall.
Well, if I order it at the end of next month, it may take 2 weeks to get here. It may take a month. Who knows? I'm hardly willing to guess.
You said you were having problems finding music for this book.
No, I was having problems to where music wasn't distracting me from what I wanted to do. I've got music that I like listening to, but for whatever reason, this book, listening to music even while I'm editing was distracting. And it's usually not. This time it was.
Even with just soundtracks? No.
Yeah, that's all I listen to, just soundtracks when I'm doing this. And it really depends, book to book. Some books I can narrate, I can dictate while I'm listening to music. Some books I can only edit. This last book I can't do anything because it's just distracting me. And I'm not sure why. But I've seen this before. It really does. Some books are that way, some books are not.
I had a playlist end, and the problem is when there's silence, all I hear in my left ear is the tone, the tinnitus. It's like, I think 50% of my hearing has gone out of my left ear. So that's one of the reasons why I usually have music on, because nobody wants to listen to that shit. Trust me. But
I have tinnitus, so I understand.
Yeah, it's bad. So I had a playlist finish, and what was I doing? Was I I can't remember if I was editing or writing. I think maybe I had to have been writing. I didn't even notice because I was so into what I was doing. It was like 20 minutes later where I realized, I kind of took a break and I realized, oh, all I hear is shrieking in my left ear and the music's not on. It was one of these weird deals where I usually can't focus or concentrate without, some noise. So it was just kind of one of those moments where I was so locked into what I was doing, I faded out completely about the fact that I didn't have that background noise.
I think what's happening is that this book in particular, the characters are really resident in my head. It's almost like I'm watching a movie in my head as I'm editing and typing. So they're more present than they usually are. So the music is distracting me from what I want to see.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. That does make sense. There are times, have you ever gone to write a book and you have to find the right music for it?
No. Although there have been times where just through happenstance, I found the right music for a short story, and I listened to it over and over as I was writing it.
Last few books I've written have had their own playlist. Derelicts really needed its own playlist. The rest of the books aren't really that difficult, although I did have one for Flames. But Derelict had to have it. Station 3 had to have it. And Station 3, because it was so moody and atmospheric, and the suspense is such a big part of it, that's pretty much what that playlist looked like. With Derelict, it was a lot of what they call offbeat and trance and soundtrack kind of stuff and things like Yenpox. With the Black, it's all over the place. It just depends on which book it is in the Black. Oceania, I can write to anything right now. I have a feeling Extinction, though, is going to take a very specific soundtrack. I have so much damage to undo with that book. Oh, my God.
And at the end of the book, it's all over. Everyone lies dead before you.
I know how that book ends. I don't know how the denouement is what the denouement is going to look like. I don't know what the aftermath is going to look like, but I know how the book ends. I know how the series ends, more or less. And it won't be pretty. What are you doing now?
Mr. Thomas is yelling for me, so I was giving him a pet to see what he wants.
He wants all your love and attention.
He wants somebody's love and attention, and everyone else is asleep.
Oh, he's one of those. Got it.
So you can come up, boy.
As Terry tries to pick up the cat.
Special good boy. No, Dad, no, I was busy. No, Dad, I was busy.
So much tail.
Good boy.
So much tail.
This cat has got a lot of tail.
Evidently.
What you doing? Nope, I gotta go over here. Here's my friend Romeo. Where's my other friends?
Hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. What else you got?
This might be one of those short episodes because I don't know that I have anything else.
We're both kind of brain dead today.
I'm not brain dead. I've expended a lot of mental energy on this book. Writing that scene today, while it was a lot of fun, it kind of took it out of me.
I'm just exhausted from doing audio, video, and all the PR crap. I still have more to do.
The never-ending PR crap tour.
I people are like, why don't you have a person for that? And I'm like, because they need money, and I don't have any. Why don't you have a PA? Because I don't make enough money to afford a PA. I don't have.
You could probably hire JR. He's cheap.
No, I'm not hiring JR. There's no telling what would happen. Well, if you have a comment about this show and how lifeless we were today, you can send an email to show@deadrobotsociety.com. You can tweet me at Paul_E_Cooley. You can find me on Mastodon at Paul E. Cooley at Mastodon.social. God, I got to get used to saying that. You can find us on Facebook, the listeners of the Dead Robot Society Facebook group, where Terry wrangles all the insanity. We have to thank our wonderful host, Pod Hoster, who makes all 14 bazillion episodes of the Dead Robot Society available for your ear holes. If you want to see our ugly mugs, you can go up to youtube.com/DRS podcast and see so many cats and other oddities, and plus get scared by our faces. If you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive content and live shows and other insanity that does not make it onto the regular podcast because, oh my God. And with that, at the $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Summer Wilson, Tony L. Joy, Andrew Smallwood, Veronica Jaguar, Rick Shaw, Lisa Slack, and Isabel Cushy. Thank you, patrons, all of our patrons, for making this show possible. And we have one more thing to take care of. we have to
What
have
could that be, Paul?
we have to have our weekly Caffeine Anonymous group. And Terry and I are sponsored by corpsecoffee.com. So you should go up to corpsecoffee.com, engage in your nasty habit and vice of caffeine. Go check out their wonderful coffees, their collection of boutique teas, their wonderful webcomic, and tell them DRS sent you. Go to corpsecoffee.com and get the dead in your cup. And with that, Terry and I are going to get out of here.
Mr. Thomas says goodbye from his perch on the
as
stand.
does all the other cats that are in Terry's office, even if they're asleep. With that, Terry, we're getting out of here. We'll see you folks later. Bye.
See you for the live show next week.
Yeah, that's true.